You are listening to the Ready PDM Network.
This episode is brought to you by Under 10 Consulting. For many organizations, it seems products get released by individual heroics. Yet most organizations need a small number of living documents, fewer than 10, to manage their products and services. Contact Under 10 for a product playbook designed specifically for your organization. Hello, Ready Product Radio heads, and welcome to another exciting episode of Ready Product Radio. This week, we check in with my current mentee, Santhosh PC. We talk about the Mentorship program, one of Santhosh's current technical passions, machine learning, and about the importance of product people having an entrepreneur's mindset, whether you are employed by someone else or working for yourself. Being an entrepreneur is optional. Thinking and acting like one is mandatory. Enjoy the show.
Are you ready?
Bangalore has a population of 8.5 million, making it 5th most populous city in India and 18th most populous city in the world. Bangalore's $8.2 billion economy, surveyed by 2006-07 net district income, makes it one of the major economic centers in India.
The greatest thing that happened to me personally was moving to Canada.
Starting with pre-engineering courses, RV College of Engineering has grown into a big tree with 12 undergraduate programs, 16 postgraduate programs, and 8 centers of excellence of PhD.
But the main aim was to establish your network.
Yeah.
Because it's a totally new market for me, right?
Yes.
ThoughtWorks to me is my daily dose of crazy.
JDA is a global leader in supply chain management solutions. We have a deep pedigree and expertise and possibly some of the best IP that has existed around supply chain solutions from organizations like i2, Manudistic, C3, etc. And that's what JDA now brings to the table in an integrated fashion.
This entrepreneurship mindset, right? Be it work or be it in your own company, it always helped. You know, going that extra mile, questioning everything.
At the end of the day, entrepreneurship is more than an academic discipline. It's really a mindset. It provides a framework for thinking and acting that can empower anyone to succeed.
Focus.
Yep.
You have to be razor focused on your objective, and you have to have a metric to measure that.
Machine learning is a method of teaching computers to make predictions based on some data. It is a branch of artificial intelligence which automatically improves programs using data.
What Google or even Facebook is doing is gathering a lot of information about the particular user.
Right.
And they have so much of data that they could still predict what a user wants or what a user needs. There are two different data sets, right? One, for sure who the customer is, what he wants, and there is this unexpected new information that's coming. So the question is, how do you use both this information and give the end user a solution or an offering where he or she, after using it, will have a wow experience?
Every one of you out there deciding that you are a mentee and you want to grow and you need to learn. The mentee decides that they want to be mentored and they go out and try and find a mentor. So the key is to focus on when a mentor and a mentee link up, the key is to focus on how the mentor can help the mentee realize their potential.
Mentoring is basically training or discipling others, and anyone can be a mentor. You don't need to be perfect in order to be an effective mentor. As a mentor, you'll teach both skills and character. Skills are usually taught intentionally, while character is usually caught or taught unintentionally. You should only mentor a person who is ready, willing, and able to grow.
Santhosh PC, welcome to the Ready Product Radio Show. You and I are in a kind of a unique relationship here. We're participating in the mentorship program for the Chief PMA, but thanks for taking the time to be part of the podcast today. For those who don't know you, like I do, can we start with a brief introduction of yourself, please?
Yes. Alan, first of all, thanks a lot. It's been an honor for me to be in this show, and hopefully, many people will get some, ideas or some inspiration and go out with full enthusiasm and try out new things.
Good.
Right? So coming back to my background.
Sure.
I started my career as a techno-functional guy, where I was part of a company called i2 Technologies, where we used to take out-of-the-box i2's product, go to the customer's place, understand their requirement, and then, fix the gap by customization, implement it, perform our assist UAT, and then go live, and then come back. And also, in this process, right, when I was working with General Motors here in Detroit, we found that the project we were in, it was a multi-million-dollar project. But at the end of the go live, they were just using 60% of the features. So that made me think a lot. After putting in a lot of effort, you don't see the fruit, right? You'll get frustrated. So that's when I kind of jumped into understanding the agile way of doing things. And since then, I've been a believer and follower of the agile methodologies.
Okay.
And since then, I worked with a company called ThoughtWorks, where I learned agile way of doing things. And I could see the value that the customer can get out every single iteration. Every single 2 weeks, there was a value pushed to the production system. That was really great to see. And from there, I actually moved to a company called JDA, which was, again, JDA had bought i2. And they were coming up with a new product on retail, focusing on omni-channel capabilities for big retailers.
Nice, yep.
So I worked in that particular product as a product manager. And since then, my product management journey started.
Okay.
And then I was with a company called Myntra.com at India. Where at that time, they were one of the leading retailers. And still they are when it comes to online fashion retail.
Excellent.
So there I had the chance to work on order management, vendor side of systems, and also the customer relationship management.
Excellent.
So that's where I built up the whole idea of the entire retail ecospace.
Right.
And then also I had a little bit of fortune to start my own company called Eatlandish. It's a company where we bought, or where we got home-cooked home chefs and the customers on the same platform. So simply put, it was Airbnb for food.
Nice.
And then a little bit of success. And then I moved on to a company called Trendin. It was, again, an online retailer, but they also had an offline presence as well. So mandate was to increase their retail system so that they could sustain a demand of 10,000 orders per day. And then I'm moved to Canada to explore opportunities here. And that's where I met an awesome person like you. And since then, I've been cherishing our relationship.
Okay, good. Good. So thank you for that introduction. So just to set the scene here, our listeners might hear a little bit of background noise. In this relationship, we've been meeting at Starbucks. So we're at a Starbucks here in Toronto. And what I normally do in my podcast, Santhosh, is I normally pick 3 topics. I find that's about the right length for a podcast. And what you and I agreed on for those 3 topics for today is you wanted to talk a little bit about the mentorship program, and I appreciate that because there may be some future mentees or mentors that are listening to this and can learn from our experience. The second thing is you shared with me that a current passion you have is machine learning technology. And, the Ready Product Radio podcast is all about helping product people of all disciplines be ready for the many challenges they'll face. So one of those challenges is staying current with technology. So definitely machine learning will be of interest. And then the third piece is I've been really intrigued to learn as we've gotten to know each other that you do have this what they call the entrepreneur's itch. You like the idea of creating companies and creating products.
Yeah.
So the third part we'll talk about entrepreneurship. Does that sound good?
Yep, that sounds great.
Okay, excellent. So why don't we start with the first topic, which is the mentorship program. So why don't you talk about? You said that you're new in Toronto and kind of establishing a new life. So why don't you talk about how you found the mentorship program and what it is that you're expecting to get out of the program?
Yep. And so one of the greatest things that happened to me personally was moving to Canada, because in India I was fairly successful. I can say that, looking back at my career.
Yep.
But when you go to a different market or a different location,
Yep.
all your established assumptions or experience
Credentials.
might not
Yep.
hold good,
Yep.
right? And that's exactly what I found here.
Okay.
Back in India, you do a network, basically by sending a LinkedIn invite, right? And then talking to them directly,
Yep.
to the point. So back in India, whenever you're doing a network with any of your, potential, maybe anyone, right?
Right.
Whenever you're doing networking, people say don't beat around the bush,
Yep.
just come to the point.
Yep.
But doesn't hold good here, right? And if you are in that mentality, you will never find a true guide or a true companion or a true friendship, right?
Yep.
So the new country.
Yep.
So that's where this mentorship program has added immense value to me.
Okay.
It's always about learning and also relearning, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Whatever you learned might not hold good the same thing. So you should be able to unlearn it and learn it faster.
Right.
So one of the key things, with the mentorship, that thing happened with you and me,
Yep.
was to understand the Canadian way of doing things, which is more personal, which is not being pushy,
Yeah, a little more subtle.
very subtle.
Yep.
Go with an open mind. Don't go with a point thing in your head to get something out of that, meeting.
Yep.
Establish this credibility or credential, right? And then take it from there. And as you rightly said, it's all about giving. Don't go with the mindset of taking first, right?
Yep.
Give into that relationship, and over a period of time, that relationship will pay you back, right? And this is one of the best things that I've learned from you, and I'm really happy that I found you and learned this thing.
Good.
And this has helped me a lot with the people I met here, and many of them now are my very good trusted friends from various disciplines, various industries, right? And I could achieve that because of your advice, of course, and your help. And also, if I look back, right, my sphere of influence compared to my 10, 11 years of living in India and my 6 months in Canada, it's already growing at an enormous rate.
Yeah.
Right. So for people like me who have shifted from India to Canada,
Yep.
especially for them, this mentorship is definitely helping a lot. And thanks to you for taking time out, driving, I don't know how many, 45 minutes every weekend.
Yep.
Not only driving, picking me up from my subway station
Yep.
to the coffee shop
Yep.
and guiding me through.
Good.
That's been really helpful.
Yeah.
And also, I want to point out a couple of things that you have, over our interaction, that you
Okay.
have helped me.
Sure.
One of the things is, we as product manager, right, we always talk about metrics, goals, right? But when it comes to our personal life,
Yep.
when it comes to our personal way of doing things, it could be starting your own company, finding a better job,
Yep.
or even increasing your sphere of influence, right?
Yep.
So one of the things that really matters is focus.
Yep.
You have to be razor focused on your objective, and you have to have a metric to measure that thing.
Yep.
More often than not, especially the product guys, we only do that when it comes to product.
Yeah.
But we often lose insight when it comes to our experimenting on our own self. So this is one thing that was, that opened my eyes
Okay.
with conversation with you. So that has
Good.
helped me a lot.
Good. So, one more question then. So, how did you? This program is offered through the TPMA.
Yeah.
So, just a quick question on background. So, how did you find out about the TPMA? How did that happen?
Yep. So I'm a product manager, right, by profession.
Yep.
And I'm also a firm believer where it's about the community.
Yeah.
Right? So be it BA community or the product management community, I always been involved back home in Bangalore as well. So naturally, the first thing I did after coming to Canada is to search for an organization related to product management.
Okay.
So that's how I found out
So you Googled
TPMA.
it.
Yeah.
You Googled it. Okay, good stuff. Well, that's great. So just a little more background then. So the way the TPMA mentorship program works, just for the folks listening, is we set it up over 6 months. We suggest that mentors and mentees meet for at least 1 hour per month. You and I have been meeting for more than that.
Yeah.
And that's a sign of our good relationship.
Yeah.
But suggest you meet for at least 1 hour per month. And really the idea is that a lot of the onus is on the mentee, because the mentor is contributing their time and their experience, but really they need guidance from the mentee on what it is that they want to learn. So in our case, I think you came to the program with a very good and specific goal, which was you just landed in Toronto, and you wanted to find a job. And what we caution people at the TPMA is the mentorship program is not a job searching program, but I think with some massaging, I was able to frame it with you to say, okay, let's have that as the goal, but let's also think about it in terms of, okay, let's do product management, but in this case, the product management is Santhosh, right? And as you say, that involves growing your network and those types of things. So we focused on those things, and it's been very rewarding for me to see, just in the time that we've been together, to see the progress. We're currently in March. The program runs till the end of August, so I guess we're at about almost at the halfway mark.
Yeah.
You've since we started doing this, you've found a job.
Yep.
Which is good news. But you and I plan to continue this through till the end of August, so that we can finish our time together.
Yeah.
Is that pretty good description of your goals? Anything else you wanted to say about your goals with the program?
Yeah, I think one of the definitely thing was finding a job. Although I was doing consulting with small startups, but the main aim was to establish your network.
Yeah.
Because it's a totally new market for me, right?
Yes.
And so that was the main objective for me, and also to learn the product management. The way the Canadians do product management, right? That's also very important. The way they think, the way they communicate, etc.
Yeah.
So
Good stuff. So let's leave that one there, Santhosh. I'll just leave it that if anybody's interested in the mentorship program, they can certainly look up the TPMA at www.tpma.ca, and the program typically runs about once per year. And we'll leave that one there. So now, Santhosh, let's go on to our second topic.
Yep.
So you talked about having a technical background. You're a very curious guy. So one of your current passions is this topic of machine learning.
Yeah.
So let's start just with the most basic question. So what have you learned? What is machine learning? Like, what's the basic definition?
Yep. So machine learning, as the name itself states, providing enough information or data so that the machine learns and it's capable enough to predict the next outcome.
Okay.
With the learned, whatever the machine has learned so far.
Right.
So having said that, artificial intelligence is been there since 30, 35 years, or it started from 1960s.
Yep.
Right? So there was a good material on artificial learning, but now with the capabilities of computers being really large, right? Where they can process tons of data at a much faster rate. So it's become more practical to solve some of the challenging or huge machine learning or artificial intelligence problems that 20 years it was really hard to think whether we could solve it or not. But today, with the technology, with the also the certain industry trend where we are going at, right?
Yep.
All points down to a favorable point where we could do some certain things with machine learning that would definitely be beneficial for end customers, right? So it's a combination of technology readiness. It's a combination of the entire industry where we are heading at, and also the customer's mindset. What is achievable versus not achievable. If it is something there, if I'm as a customer, if I will be willing if I will be willing to try that, right? So all these three things has put into a favorable position where my interest has been more
Right.
in machine learning.
Yeah, good. So if I can just try to pick an example or a couple, and you tell me whether this is machine learning. So one of the applications I use on my BlackBerry Priv smartphone is Google Now. And for example, when I get in the car at the end of my working day, it will pop up a message and say that I have approximately 45 minutes drive until I get home, or it will know if there's a construction on my typical route to make that a longer time. Is that an example of machine learning?
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
What Google or even Facebook is doing is gathering a lot of information about the particular user.
Right.
And they have so much of data that they could still predict what a user wants or what a user needs. So getting that need without the prompt, or without user prompting it, and delivering it at that particular moment, would give a huge wow moment to customers, right?
Yeah.
So being from a product management, we always think about the wow moment.
Yeah, exactly.
So for example, if you're driving down from work to your home, and let's say you always leave at around 5:30 to your work, but on this particular day you got late and you left around 7 o'clock. And since also you have kind of merged your calendar with the Google Calendar, let's say, hypothetically, it knows you had back-to-back meetings.
Right.
So imagine as soon as you get into the car knows that you had a very long day, and immediately it turns on the music that helps you calm down and have a pleasantful drive without you telling what to be played. Right?
Yeah.
There is an element of surprise, and it knows so much so that it can predict 90 to 99% probability that you would like it, right?
Yeah.
And more often than not, you would definitely like it, and you definitely enjoy your drive, right? So those are one kind of application that we can achieve now, delivering that personalized experience to the end consumer.
Right.
Artificial intelligence and machine learning is already there.
Yeah.
They were already being used when it comes to stock markets, in gaming, and also, for example, Google Now or Siri, right?
Yeah.
Take the same capability, address it to the end customer's one specific need. Do that one specific need amazingly well, right? And have that wow moment whenever the customer uses your product. Right?
Yeah.
So that is what many companies all around the globe are trying to achieve, are trying to do.
Yeah.
Many startups, big companies as well. So it's a very exciting future.
Yeah.
And as a product manager, right, we always be in the future state.
Yeah.
We'll think about what would the customer need 6 months, 1 year down the line.
Yeah.
Okay, if I want to achieve there, what do I need to do now to achieve that, right?
Yeah.
So it's a long process, but definitely I think over the couple of months or years, we'll start hearing a lot of personalized product that being made available to the end consumers.
Yeah. So if I can use a couple of other examples, I'm not an Apple guy, but I've heard about a lot of iPhone users, for example, where their phone will vibrate and tell them if they need to get up and take a walk because they've been sitting for too long. For example, would you classify that as machine learning, or is that too simplistic of an example?
That's a very basic example.
Yeah, okay.
If you say machine learning would be a combination of many things. If a user has, if you boil down to a particular user, right?
Yeah.
User has a set pattern. For example, he goes to an office, works, attends a meeting, comes back, and also he might go socialize, right? These are the set patterns. There might be another pattern which is unexpected. For example, he might have to go for a meeting, not here, but to some other country, right? The data is available there. And over the years, you have built the specific interest about this particular customer or this particular user. Now, the question is, there are two different data sets, right? One, for sure who the customer is, what he wants, and there is this unexpected new information that's coming in. So the question is, how do you use both this information and give the end user a solution or an offering where he or she, after using it, will have a wow experience.
Yeah, I gotcha. So, last example I'll ask about. So, I was recently reading that I think it was Google AI had recently defeated the Chinese Go game champion. So, would you classify that as an application of machine learning?
Yes.
Okay.
So basically, it's about calculating different moves in a particular game, and attaching each and every single move a percentage of probability, right? And every single move, you actually adjust your probability of winning. You'll be having tons of different moves after every single move, right? After every single move, the machine computes the probability of the end state for different paths or different moves, and it chooses the best one. And the same cycle goes on and on and on for every single move. Until the machine is until there is an endpoint. So this is just one application, right? So you can think of such applications in n number of industries, n number of places.
Yeah, exactly. And I imagine, just to use your example, so you said you're combining a set of known facts. In the case of Go, the rules are known. The size of the board is known. What is unknown is what the opponent will do next. But correct me if I'm not getting this properly. But what you're saying is real machine learning would be after, let's say, playing maybe 10 or 15 moves against a specific opponent, the machine might learn the types of moves or the types of behavior of that particular opponent and be able to kind of predict, okay, Santhosh plays this fashion, so I'm gonna adjust how I play because I'm getting to know Santhosh better. Is that a fair analogy or no?
I mean, you could say that, definitely. There is machine is definitely trying to learn, and for example, Google now, right? Google, which did that particular competition, they just didn't do it on that particular day, right? They had a lot of data. And machine learning, one of the biggest advantage and disadvantage is data. So when you come up with a particular problem to solve using machine learning, right? The biggest question being asked is, okay, do I have enough data so that I can train my machine? So I'm sure Google, before that, they had trained their machine in such a way that, whatever may be the move, you have to predict the maximum probability path or course of path, right? And that learning was there when they were actually playing it. So here, it didn't try to see or learn what my opponent is, there will be a certain element of that as well. But here, more importantly, okay, if the opponent is playing this move, then what are my probable options? And I want to pick the best probable option.
Okay. Okay. Good. So one more example then. So let's say you're saying that wow moment. So tell me if this would be a good application of machine learning. So let's say, for example, that I am very busy. I don't have a lot of time to think about planning my meals, what I'm going to eat. So to break it down again into those two things that you're talking about, the known and the unknown, would it be a good application for machine learning for if I was to tell a machine, these are the different types of foods that I like, and maybe some other information such as these are how many times I eat during the day. I could maybe tell the machine my age.
Yep.
And maybe my weight and other information. Would it be an application of machine learning for it to then kind of crunch all that data and basically recommend a meal plan that A, had some variety to it, B, included some of my most favorite foods, C, took some of my health needs into consideration? Am I getting close to it there? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, good.
That would definitely qualify for a very good machine learning for an end consumer.
Yeah.
But if you want to give another example,
sure,
right?
Please.
Imagine, we all know about personalization over an e-commerce website or a mobile app.
Yeah, right? Amazon, yep.
What about going personalization to the next level? For example, if you're opening up a mobile app for a bank, let's say, right? And you do only 5 or 6 things, right? More often than not.
Yep.
Check your balance, transfer your money, pay your credit card, pay your bills, etc.
Yep.
To do that, for example, customer has to log in. From login, he'll be having a landing page, right? From landing page, he has to go to that specific functionality.
Yep.
What if the machine knows you very well that 7th to 8th of every single month, you are going to pay your credit card bill or your payment bill, right? The app is so dynamically changing its content,
what it's presenting to you,
where it's presenting. As soon as you log in, it will be exactly on that particular page. All you have to do is just one click. Right? That is one way of interpreting what is machine learning at an enterprise level. And and you can extend that, dynamic content, personalization to to the next level. Right? So
excellent. That's a good example. I can imagine an example to take yours a little further, whereby I go to take out $40 from the cash machine, and I get a message saying, "This is your wife. Nice try, but you've had your allowance for this month, so please go away." Right? If you could get control over that, so that's really good. So before we leave the topic of machine learning, so how are you educating yourself on this topic? Are you reading books? Are you searching online? Are you talking to people? Tell us a little bit about how you're learning about machine learning. It's kind of a meta question.
Thanks to you. I've been talking to many people who have very good interest and also who have tons of experience in machine learning. Trying to understand what are the typical challenges that they've been facing and how they are mitigating it. Right? And also, I've been reading a lot of blogs for this, especially Toronto Public Library. It's been helping me a lot, I could go and borrow books.
Library.
It's a very good library. And thanks to the people who are maintaining it. So
good.
I've been reading a lot, and also it's knowledge that cannot be built overnight, right? And there are certain things that you can build that knowledge only while doing it. Right? So books are definitely helping me to giving me the confidence to go and try it. But I definitely have to try it and experience it myself.
Right.
So I'm in that process.
Okay.
As now.
Okay. Good. Well, let's transition to our third topic then, Santhosh. So, let's talk about a little bit about your entrepreneurial itch, as I call it.
Yeah.
Your journey there. So talk about some of your early attempts at entrepreneurship and what you learned, and then talk about maybe whether you've got any current thoughts. Don't give away any secrets or anything, but talk about where you are, where you came from and where you're at currently with regard to your entrepreneurial journey.
Sure. I think it all started when I was in hostel. When I was doing my engineering studies.
Mm-hmm.
And back then in 2000, 2001, there was a huge demand for assembled computers.
Right.
So all my roommates, hostel mates were talking about buying assembled computer for $1,000. It was 50,000 rupees that time.
Yep.
So I quickly learned the way of assembling the computer.
Yep.
And kind of went to the market. There was a huge electronics market where you can buy from the suppliers in bulk, and then negotiated with them, and then provided a service to a couple of my hostel mates.
Yep.
And it was a fruitful experience. So that time the focus was, get enough money so that you can sustain your fees for the next 4 years.
Yep.
I didn't really think of hockey-like stick growth.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but then after coming to work, this entrepreneurship mindset, right? Be it work or be it in your own company, it always helped.
Mm-hmm.
Going that extra mile, questioning everything.
Mm-hmm.
It has actually helped companies in various ways, personally as well as to the companies.
Right.
So having this entrepreneurial mindset is definitely useful for everyone. It is more useful for product managers because you're constantly thinking about what could be the needs in the future state and how I can help. And also, once you are in entrepreneurship, once you have a team going on, right? You also be exposed to the reality. The reality is, you cannot do everything alone.
Right.
There comes the people skills, right? First thing is, how do I make sure I hire the best possible talent who are equally passionate or more passionate about my product, right?
Yep.
And the second thing is, how do I connect everything? Customer, you are coming up with a product or service to a customer, right?
Yeah.
So it's not just about selling that product or services.
Yeah.
How do I make sure I service him post-sale?
Yep.
Right? And this was the initial thought. But when I did my startup of Eatlandish, which is Airbnb for food, where we bought chefs and the customers online and kind of provided the services where one could get healthy home-cooked food.
Yep.
Right in their fingertips.
Yep.
So there, we focused really well on getting the product or the service right.
Yep.
What I lacked there was, how do I get my service to the potential customers or potential cooks? The marketing piece of it, right? So you have an amazing product or service, but you cannot communicate it amazingly well, then it's no good.
Exactly,
So that's where...
It's the world's best kept secret. Yeah, exactly.
So that also, in my startup, I learned that in a little bit of hard way. But, so that's what I focus now. Be it, now I'm working for a company, right?
Yep.
I'm also building a roadmap and a solution to a very specific problem.
Yep.
Right? First approach is, how do I get that solution right? And also now I actually think, okay, how do I make sure this particular solution is well said or well, taken that entire thing, communicated to the potential users.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So basically, if I can try to summarize what you're saying, entrepreneurship teaches you a holistic approach to looking at the whole thing end to end versus, let's say, if you're a software developer, all you think about is the code, or if you're a salesperson, all you think about is sales. Entrepreneurship, you have to think about everything.
Yep.
And it's like kind of making a cake. You can't just have the flour. You have to have the eggs. You have to mix it in the right order. You have to do the whole recipe.
And you have to present it very well in the end.
Yes. Yeah. And it has to look appetizing. Yes. Good. Good. Excellent. So then, do you have any, anything currently that you've got? Like I said, don't share any secrets. But are you planning to continue this entrepreneurship,
Yes.
okay?
Yeah. I mean, be it the company I work for or my own company, definitely this entrepreneurship mindset will be there.
Okay.
Because I've seen many examples in my own experience that have had value tremendously, immensely.
Yeah.
Right? So I definitely want to have that mindset. And also, I'm actively, as I told you, right, I have interest in machine learning.
Yep.
So I'm in the phase where I'm validating certain things.
Yep.
I'm not too sure what I'm going to get at it, but I'm trying to learn new things, understand it, implement it, have more confidence, and probably try to solve one specific use case really well, and then go from there.
Good.
So that's the thought process I'm in, actually.
Yeah, good. That's excellent. Okay, let's leave that one there. I can definitely get the sense talking to you that you're working on a top secret project, but we're not going to give any of it away there. So there's a question that I always wrap up the podcast with, Santhosh, and I know we have to respect your time here. So since you're still a younger guy early on in your career, I ask the question this way. If you were to project yourself, let's say 15 or 20 years in the future, what are some of the things that you would want to look back on and be proud of accomplishments in the product world or in the business world? What are some of the things that you'd like to have in your scrapbook of memories? Let's say in 15 or 20 years.
Yeah. So, thanks to you, I want to measure myself, right?
Yeah.
I have a goal and I have some metric.
Yep.
So one of the key metrics is the impact that I would be providing with my product or services, or whatever work I do, to the end users or the end customers. Right? That is one of the key metrics for me.
Yeah.
And definitely over the 15 years, if I look back, right, I would like to have that impact, probably to millions of people.
Yeah.
And that would, if I reach there, I'd definitely be very happy.
Okay.
So my focus and my work would be towards that, having that impact, whatever you do, to the end customers or the end users, which is in the lines of millions and millions of people.
Nice. Good scale. Yeah. Set the bar high. I often think when I hear responses like that, Santhosh, about one of Steve Jobs' expressions, which was, he said he wanted to make a dent in the universe, right? Mm-hmm. So, he wanted to make it clear that he was there even after he's gone, right?
Yeah.
And obviously with Apple, that's very clear that he did that.
Yeah.
So if somebody's listening to this podcast, Santhosh, and they were interested in something you said and wanted to connect with you, follow you, maybe go for a coffee with you.
Yep.
Any contact information that you're comfortable sharing with the audience?
Sure, Alan. So my email ID is santhosh.pc@gmail.com. And also I have a Twitter handle, Santhosh PC, SANTHOSH, P for Peter and C for cat.
Okay,
so
good.
They can definitely, I will be more than happy to connect.
Awesome.
And share, have a very good conversation.
Good. Well, listen, on behalf of Ready Product Radio, thank you, Santhosh, for taking the time, and a special thank you for this wonderful mentoring relationship that we've had as well. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Alan. It's been a pleasure.
Okay. Take care.
Yep, bye-bye.
Today's podcast was brought to you by Under 10 Consulting. Get your product teams up to speed quickly with the latest methods and a proven process tailored to your organization. Thank you for listening to this episode of Ready Product Radio, part of the Ready PDM network. This is when most podcasters ask you to leave a review on iTunes if you like the show. My only request is if you found the show entertaining, inspiring, or informative, please share it with a colleague or friend who may feel the same way. Also, note that the views expressed in this episode do not necessarily reflect my views or the views of the Ready PDM network. If you want yourself or your product to be ready, then keep your eyes on your markets, your ears to your customers, your mind on their experiences, both good and bad, and finally, keep your hearts in your products. Until next time, thank you for listening. You can contact us on Twitter at Ready Product Radio. That's RDYPRODUCTRADIO. and on the web at www.readyproductradio.com.
JJ, what do you want to do tonight?
The same thing we do every night, Pinky. Try to take over the world.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.